Hello everyone. Enjoy this relaxing moment while you watch. Once upon a time, in a small community in western Nigeria, lived two friends, Ofur and Oei. The two were very good friends and inseparable. They attended the same primary school, secondary school, and even the same tertiary institution. Ofur studied mass communication while Oei studied biochemistry. They both graduated and went for their youth service in JW. There, Ofur met Adamu, the son of a northern billionaire. It was love at first sight. Adamu loved and cared for Ofur like his sister. The two were inseparable, and soon, Ofur started spending less time with her best friend Oei and more time with Adamu. This made Oei very angry. Oei, I understand you are not happy that I am spending less time with you, but I want you to know that I love you regardless. You are and will always be my best friend. Nothing will ever change that, Ofur said. But I am also trying to build something with Adamu. Who knows? This whole thing could lead to marriage. As the first daughter of my family, you know my mom. She has already started asking me to bring a suitor home after my youth service. Oei apologized to Ofur for blowing things out of proportion and promised to be more understanding, acknowledging that they were both of marriageable age and should start investing in committed relationships that could lead to marriage. Ofur was the love of Adamu's life. He practically worshipped the ground she walked on. 6 months into their relationship, Adamu proposed to Ofur, and she accepted his proposal. It was a dream come true for her. She called her friend Oei and shared the news. Oei screamed in joy but was also surprised. She knew Adamu loved Ofur, but she had been confident that, being a northerner, Adamu would rather marry someone from the north. She did not expect a billionaire's family to accept a low-life like Ofur. Ending the call, she began to think deeply. Are you sure his family will accept you? Oei asked Ofur. Ofur, still gushing over her engagement, didn't hear the question. Oei asked again, are you sure Adamu's family will accept you? What sort of question is that? Ofur blurted out. I didn't mean it that way, Oei replied quickly. I'm just concerned about you. I don't want you to get hurt, she added. Ofur sighed. I understand where you are coming from. My family and Adamu's family are worlds apart, but I know he loves me, and I am positive that his family will accept me. He has told me about his family, and they seem like really nice people. He's taking me to his family's house next week to officially introduce me to his parents. I am nervous, but I know all will end well. Oei assured Ofur that all would end well. The following day, Adamu came to Ofur's house to pick her up so they could go meet his parents. He parked a sleek SUV outside her apartment. As Ofur walked towards the car, Adamu stepped out to open the door for her. You look ravishing, my queen, Adamu said. Oei watched from her window as they drove off. She was burning with envy but couldn't express it so as not to offend her friend. For hours later, Oei's phone rang. It was Ofur calling. What could she be calling to tell me? I hope it is bad news. I hope the family rejected her, Oei muttered to herself before picking up the call. As soon as she answered, she heard Ofur scream from the other end of the phone. Adamu's family accepted me with open arms. They insisted that they will sponsor the wedding and even the honeymoon. Guess what? The honeymoon is going to be in Paris. Oei's heart sank. She managed to fake a smile and pretended to be happy for Ofur. Soon after the call dropped, Oei's face turned pale. Standing in front of her mirror, she began talking to herself. Even the blind can see that you are more beautiful and clever than Ofur. How can she marry before you? Why did the son of a billionaire pick that low life over you? Adamu is supposed to be yours. You saw him first before Ofur did. The only thing is that he didn't look rich to me. I would have pursued him. I'm sure Ofur secretly had that information about him, and that's why she chose to be his friend. Ofur is a snake. Anyway, Adamu belongs to me, and I will not settle for less. 2 months later, wedding preparations were in full motion. Oei was very supportive with the arrangements, ensuring Adamu's family noticed how helpful she was. She ran errands for Adamu's mom and even picked up his clothes from the dry cleaners. I never knew your friend was this supportive and hardworking, Adamu remarked to Ofur as they drove to get groceries. Oei is a very nice person. We have been best friends since childhood. We do practically everything together, Ofur replied. Finally, the wedding day arrived. It was held at the biggest event hall in the city. Oi was Ofur's maid of honor. The ceremony was grand, with dignitaries from all over the country in attendance. Everyone was happy for the couple. 3 months after the wedding, Ofur got pregnant. She called Oi to share the news. Oi sounded excited over the phone. 6 months later, Ofur delivered a bouncing baby boy. The whole family was overjoyed. Adamu made sure Ofur lacked nothing, both financially and emotionally. 3 years later, on their 4th wedding anniversary, they threw a glamorous party. Oi was in attendance and, as usual, was very helpful. This your wife's best friend seems to be a very nice girl. She's always ready to help and is selfless. If I had an unmarried son, she would have been a good recommendation, Mrs. Amina said to Adamu, and they both laughed over it. One fateful day, Ofur received a call that her friend Oi had attempted suicide. Ofur was at the hospital. She drove there like a madwoman. What in the world would make my best friend commit suicide? She thought to herself. As soon as Ofur got to the hospital, she requested to see her friend and was shown the room Oi was in. Oi, why did you do it? Ofur asked, tears streaming down her face. What is so bad about your life that you would resort to taking your life? I have known you since we were kids, Oi, and I know you can be many things, but being suicidal is not something I ever thought you could be. Ofur continued to scold her friend, while Oi lay on the hospital bed staring into space. Finally, Oi spoke. Avi, are you really asking me what is wrong with me? Can't you see my life? I am neither moving forward nor backward. I am just stuck in one place. Since we finished school, I don't even have a man to call my own. Did you know that I have been battling depression for the last 3 months? Of course, you wouldn't know. You've been occupied with your new family, so you no longer have a place for me in your head. Ofur felt guilty. She realized she hadn't really been there for Oi since getting married. The responsibilities of married life had taken a toll on her friendship. She apologized to Oi for abandoning her all these months and promised to do better and be there for her as a best friend. 2 days after Oi was discharged from the hospital, Ofur stayed awake at night, pondering many things. My love, why aren't you asleep? What is bothering you? Adamu asked. Ofur explained to her husband that she was worried sick about Oi's mental health. She feared that Oi might slip into depression again and end up taking her life. She didn't want to lose her friend. Adamu consoled his wife and assured her that everything would be fine. He promised that they would check on Oi regularly to ensure she was doing well. Babe, can I ask you a favor? Ofur asked. Sure, you can ask me anything, Adamu replied. Please, can I bring my friend Oi to live with us for a while? I will be more at peace if I can see her face to face daily. At least I'll know when something is wrong. That is not possible, Adamu said firmly. Your friend cannot live with us. I have heard stories like this and it never ends well. Avi, I know without a doubt that you love your friend and have her best interest at heart, but don't you think bringing her to live with us is a bit too extreme? Ofur begged Adamu to be more understanding, but he wasn't having it. He stormed out of their bedroom in anger and went to sleep in the living room. 3 days later, Ofur began giving Adamu the silent treatment. She would sit by herself all day without talking to her husband. My love, how long are you going to keep ignoring me? Okay, there is no problem. I will allow your friend to come live with us, but only for a short while. I just want you to be happy. Ofur's eyes lit up with excitement. She thanked Adamu for his kind consideration and immediately invited Oi to come live with them. Oi moved into her friend's home 2 days later and was given the guest room. She coordinated herself well in the house, and soon Adamu began to enjoy her company. Sometimes, when Adamu worked from home and Ofur was not around, Oi would serve him a cold glass of juice or even make him lunch. 3 months after Oi moved in, Ofur started falling sick consistently. It was one illness after another. Ofur began to grow lean, and even the doctors could not diagnose what was wrong. Adamu kept spending money on treatments, but there was no improvement. One day, Oi felt she had stayed long enough and decided it was time to leave. However, Adamu begged her to stay, as she was the only one he trusted to take care of Ofur in his absence. One day, Ofur's son, Prince, who was a very intelligent 5-year-old, asked Oi, "Why did my mom start falling sick after you came to live with us?" Oi dismissed the little boy and went about her business. After 6 months of illness without a cure, Ofur finally passed away. It was a devastating period for Adamu. He had just lost the love of his life and was left with a young son to care for. Adamu's world came crumbling down. Tai was devastated but somehow found the strength to console him. She served him food, encouraged him to eat, and bathed and fed Prince. She took care of Prince as though he were her own son. 3 weeks after the burial, Oi thought it was finally time to leave. "Adamu, I think the time has come for me to finally take my leave. My best friend Ofur is no more, so I have no business being in this house." Adamu begged her to stay for Prince's sake, as he couldn't trust anyone else to care for his child. Oi refused, so Adamu called his mother for help. "My daughter, you were like a sister to your late friend, and I can understand how painful this is, but for the sake of the child she left behind, please stay a little longer until things stabilize. I'm not in the country, or I would have asked for the boy to be brought to me," Mrs. Amina said to Oi. Oi finally agreed to stay back, much to Adamu's relief. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, and Oi continued living in the house. Somehow, Adamu began to develop feelings for her. She seemed too perfect. She always knew the right things to say or do in any given circumstance. One fateful night, while Adamu was asleep, he heard a knock on his bedroom door. "Who is it?" Adamu asked. "It's me," she responded. Adamu was worried. "What is Oi doing at my door at this time of the night?" When he opened the door, there she stood in very provocative nightwear. "I was having nightmares," they claimed. Adamu invited her into the room, and one thing led to another. They made love. It was an act Adamu immediately regretted. He thought about what kind of man Ofur would think he was. Sleeping with Ofur's best friend was something he never imagined doing. Oi moved from the guest room to the master bedroom, and she and Adamu started a full-blown affair. She became the madam of the house. Adamu made their affair official and informed his parents that he was going to marry Oi. Even though society would frown at his actions, his parents believed that Oi was the best fit for him, as they had known her for a very long time, and she was also the best person to take good care of Prince. Mrs. Amina was of the opinion that Ofur would have wanted the same thing. Wedding preparations began, although the family agreed that, given the circumstances of their relationship, the wedding ceremony would not be too glamorous. Adamu traveled for a business trip and was expected to return in a month to officially kickstart the wedding preparations, leaving Prince and Oi at home. One fateful morning, Oi stormed into Prince's room and called out his name to wake him up. Prince was still fast asleep, which made Oi very angry. She went close to him and dragged him off the bed onto the floor. Prince woke up crying, and Oi gave him a dirty slap. "Will you keep quiet, you cursed child? Do you think I will pamper you the way your miserable mother pampered you? Now get up and go do the dishes before I lose my temper, you good for nothing. You think you're a prince in this house? I am the queen of this house, so I give the orders here." Prince, who had never washed plates in his life, went into the kitchen and saw the huge pile of plates. He was confused about what to do. Nonetheless, he decided to start washing the plates, realizing his father was not around to save him. After washing the plates to the best of his ability, he went to meet Oi to tell her he was hungry. Oi stared at him for a while and then told him he would not eat until 3 p.m. as there was no food in the house, and they had to manage what was available until his father returned. Prince broke down in tears. He missed his mother so much. He went back to his room on an empty stomach and waited until 3 p.m. At 2 p.m., Oi screamed his name, and he ran out of his room in shock. "Why did you not mop the kitchen floor when you were done washing the plates?" Prince looked confused. He didn't even know he was supposed to mop the floor. He begged Oi to give him some food, promising to mop the floor later. Oi laughed hysterically. "You must be delusional. Every action has its consequences. Didn't your mother teach you that? I guess not. You disobeyed my instructions by leaving the kitchen floor dirty, and as a result, you will not eat until 9 p.m. Now go and mop the floor before I change my mind." Prince carried his tired and hungry body to the kitchen, got the mop and bucket, and started cleaning. When he was done, he went back to his room, sat on the floor, and wept bitterly. He thought about how his life would be if his dad finally married Auntie Oi. At 7 p.m., Oi called Prince and gave him 2 slices of bread and a glass of water. Prince looked at Oi and said, "Auntie O, please, I want real food. I haven't eaten all day. What do you think is in your hand? Stones? If you're not going to eat it, give it back to me, and I'll give it to the dogs." Prince had no option. He took the 2 slices of bread and went back to his room, eating it as his dinner and only meal for the day. "My love, I have missed you so much," Oi said to Adamu over the phone. Adamu informed Oi that he would be back from his business trip in a week, much earlier than planned. This made Oi very worried. Prince had grown lean and sickly due to the starvation and maltreatment Oi had been meting out to him. She needed to act quickly. If Adamu came back and saw his son in this state, he might decide not to marry her. The next morning, Oi said to Prince, "My boy, come and eat," as she served him a big bowl of hot jollof rice and turkey. Prince was surprised and scared at the same time. He didn't know if Oi wanted to finally finish him off before his father returned, so he told her he wasn't hungry. This made Oi very angry, but she managed to hide her emotions and forced a smile. She apologized to Prince and begged him to eat, but Prince wouldn't budge. Frustrated, Oi left the child alone and drove out of the house. "Hello, pharmacist. My 6-year-old son has a very poor appetite. I need something that will make him eat," Oi said to the pharmacist. "Not a problem, ma'am. We have something to boost your son's appetite. Give him 1 tablespoon twice daily," the pharmacist said as he handed her a syrup. Oi thanked him and left. On getting home, Oi emptied half a bottle of the syrup into Prince's favorite juice that he had kept in the fridge. She also left the plate of rice she had offered him earlier on the table. A few hours later, Prince went to the fridge to drink his favorite juice, unaware that it had been tampered with. 30 minutes later, the little boy began to feel hunger pangs. He couldn't hold it anymore. He ran to the dining table and devoured the rice Oi had given him earlier. Prince kept on eating like a glutton for a week, and Oi kept feeding him. When Adamu came back a week later, he couldn't recognize his son. "What have you been feeding my boy?" Adamu asked Oi, excitement in his voice. He believed that Oi had been showing Prince too much love and felt so much peace in his heart, knowing he had made the right decision to marry Oi, at least for the sake of his son. The little boy, however, finally understood the game Oi was playing. But how could he tell his father that Oi had been maltreating him? With his new body weight, nobody would believe him. Prince knew that if his father ended up marrying Oi, it would be the biggest mistake of his life. "Daddy, please buy me a tab. All my friends in school have one," Prince said to his father as he prepared for work. "I'll tell Auntie Oi to get one for you," Adamu responded. Prince burst into tears and immediately said he wanted to see his mother. Adamu was broken inside. He hated seeing his son like that. He then promised to buy him the tab on his way back from work if he stopped crying. 3 weeks to the wedding, Adamu had to travel for a few days for a business transaction. As soon as he left the house, Oi resumed Prince's maltreatment. She forced him to scrub the floor, wash his clothes, and only gave him 2 slices of bread to eat. One evening, Prince walked up to Oi while she was in the living room and stood in front of her. "Auntie, why are you so wicked to me?" the little boy asked. Before Prince could finish his statement, Oi gave him a dirty slap. "You good-for-nothing son of a harlot. How dare you stand in front of me and question me? Are you crazy? Is it because I spared your life? I could have sent you to the great beyond just like your mother. Have you ever wondered how your miserable mother died? I'll tell you. Listen attentively because after what I'm about to say, you will begin to fear me. I was slowly poisoning your mother for months with a type of poison that cannot be traced in the body. I was responsible for her unending illness. She took what belonged to me. I am the one who was supposed to be married to Adamu, not her, and I had to take what was rightfully mine. I moved into this house with a goal, and my goal was never to leave. My goal was to take charge of this house, and I got what I wanted. So, if you dare stand in my way, I will crush your bones and feed them to the dogs." Prince stood there in shock. He couldn't move his legs. He almost collapsed from the revelation but had to be strong for his late mother. When his father came back from his trip, Prince didn't tell him about the new information he had learned. I knew he wouldn't dare, not after knowing what she was capable of. Finally, it was 2 days to the wedding, and everyone was in high spirits. Although the wedding was meant to be small, the Adamu family would never compromise on class. Everyone was at the Adamu family house when suddenly Prince called everyone to the living room. Prince was a child loved by all, especially his grandparents. Adamu's mother, Mrs. Amina, summoned everyone to the living room because her beloved grandson wanted to speak. Nobody knew what he wanted to say, but they were all excited to hear it. OEI was worried that Prince was about to tell everyone what she had confessed to him, but she took consolation in the fact that the Adamu family trusted her to a fault. She had proven herself over the years, so nobody would believe the little boy. She had already prepared a defense. If Prince dared to spill the truth, she would tell everyone that Prince had been hallucinating since his mother died but had been trying to handle the situation on her own. Soon, the whole family was seated. Prince stood at the center of the living room and beckoned his uncle, Adamu's younger brother, to help him connect his tablet to the big television screen. Everyone was still confused as to what Prince was up to. Kabiru, Adamu's brother, did as Prince had told him, and soon a video clip began to play. It was the video from the day OEI confessed to Prince. Unknown to her, Prince had hidden his tablet behind a flower vase before he went to confront her. He only wanted to show his father that OEI maltreated him when he wasn't around, but he unknowingly captured a much bigger revelation that fateful day. The whole family was shocked beyond words. Adamu felt as though the ground beneath his feet had been removed. Hai wanted to run away but was quickly apprehended by Kabiru. The family called the cops on OEI, and the police took her away in handcuffs. OEI had no words to say in her defense. The confession in the video clip gave her away. The Adamu family felt as though they had betrayed Ofur by allowing OEI into their lives. Adamu apologized to Prince for being blind to who OEI really was, and for the fact that his wife had to pay with her life. Adamu went with Prince to visit Ofur's grave to drop some flowers. Ofur, I am so sorry. I don't know what to say. I feel I betrayed your love and trust. Please forgive me, Adamu said in tears as he stood over Ofur's grave. 3 months later, OEI was convicted of murder and sentenced to death by hanging. Adamu never remarried. He focused on his business and raising his son, Prince. If you enjoyed this story, we invite you to give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Your support motivates us to keep bringing heartwarming stories almost every day. We are very grateful for your support. See you soon.